Hello, everyone, and welcome to our monthly online event. I'm Judy Goss, the founder and CEO of Over 40 Females and also radio show host of What Women Want Talk Radio. For those of you who are new with us, Over 40 Females is a nationally acclaimed live and online networking community with 20 chapters around the country, providing resources, personal and professional development, inspiration, and support. We've recently partnered with What Women Want Talk Radio for even more exposure for our members and continual support for getting your voice out there. What Women Want currently has over 30,000 listeners a month and airs on latalkradio.com. Today's event is 5 simple things that make VIPs read and respond to your emails, featuring John Corcoran, a former Clinton White House writer and speechwriter to the governor of California. We'll be bringing him on and talking about his background more in just a couple of minutes. We are constantly getting our members out there noticed and in the press, and this slide is me and Jerry Stengel from New York on ABC Eyewitness News discussing female entrepreneurs. Plus, we had a woman from Chicago get her own segment on NBC, and many, many more success stories on our testimonials page. And we are so proud of the fact that we're constantly getting our members so much recognition for the businesses, and not just on TV, but in every form of media out there. Here's a sample profile. If you are a member of Over 40 Females, you not only get to attend our fantastic events in person at our many chapters nationwide, but we have online benefits also. And if you don't have a chapter in your area, email us. We're always looking for motivated women to start more chapters everywhere. That's info@over40females.com. Okay, chapter locations. These are our current live locations around the country. If you're looking for live events to attend in person, you can find out where and when on our website, over40females.com, if you haven't gotten that by now, under the tab locations. Each location has events at least once a month, with some states having multiple locations. What Women Want Talk Radio, another way to get your story or business out there and promoted. The host is me, Judy Goss. So members, of course, get top consideration to be interviewed for What Women Want Talk Radio. And you can also listen to the downloads from our website, whatwomenwantradio.com. Okay, Over 40 Females would not be where we are without our sponsors. Our national travel sponsor is Cappy's Travel. She's with us for 4 years now. I'm so proud to have her. Cappy is a 100% women-owned business for over 40 years. So let's support her. Call Cappy next time you know you want to travel. You know you can't get the same service online, that's for sure. Her number is 888-227-7975. Tell her you're a friend of Over 40 Females. Okay, let's get to our guest speaker for today. John Corcoran is an attorney, writer, and a father, and a former Clinton White House writer and speechwriter to the governor of California. Throughout his career, he has worked in Hollywood, the heart of Silicon Valley, and owns his own boutique law firm in the San Francisco Bay Area, catering to small business owners and entrepreneurs. He is the creator of Smart Business Revolution and the Smart Business Revolution podcast. His writing has appeared in Forbes, Entrepreneur.com, Huffington Post, Art of Manliness, haven't heard of that one yet, Lifehacker, Business Insider, Get Rich Slowly, and numerous other publications, blogs, and websites. Now, John, I can imagine these 5 simple steps you're going to teach us will help in all kinds of situations, getting contacts for jobs, pitching news outlets with stories. It's a great topic to speak about. Welcome.
Thank you, Judy. And you hear me okay?
I do. Loud and clear.
Great. Okay, good. All right, and everyone should be seeing the slides now, so hopefully everyone can see that. And I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. I was telling you before the call, a little itch to travel just from looking at that picture of the cruise ship. So,
I know, right? I've already booked mine for Christmas. I am out of here.
Oh man, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I've got a couple of young kids, so it's hard to. We actually did a cruise last summer, but it was challenging with young kids. But
well, if you have young kids, you really need a cruise.
Yeah. More than ever, yeah. So, this is a fun topic. I love talking about this, about how to email more effectively. And I think that we all recognize the importance of email. It's not going away anytime soon. In fact, most of us spend, I'm going to share this in a moment, most of us spend a good chunk of our week in our inbox. And with mobile phones in our pockets or our purses these days, we're spending even more time in our inbox. And so it's really critically important for your career, for your business, for your network, for your relationships to be effective with email. We all get a zillion emails each day, and I'm going to talk about some ways to be more effective about that. I'm going to move very quickly. I don't believe in slow webinars, so I move through these slides very quickly. So let me ask you guys a quick question. First of all, who here hates going to boring networking events? I'm going to guess a lot of people say yes. Judy, yeah, you hate going to boring networking events?
That is why I created Over 40 Females, so women wouldn't have to do that.
Exactly, right. How many previously, before you created Over 40 Females, how many times did you go to some event and you're talking with some guy like this, right? Some sleazy guy who comes up. First thing, he's sticking his business card in your hand. He's trying to pitch you on some product or service that he's selling. I think we've all been through this kind of experience. And it's the reason that networking, the word, has got a very negative connotation. A lot of people think about that word and they just get, like a pit in their stomach. And so what I want you to do is I want you to imagine for a moment, imagine if you didn't have to deal with that. Imagine if you never had to make small talk with some guy that you can't stand ever before. In fact, imagine also if you could connect with anyone. And who would it be? Who are the people that you would like to connect with? Who are the people that, the entrepreneurs, the business owners, the artists, the actors, the directors, the athletes, who are the people that the titans of industry who you look up to, or maybe just someone in your local community who you look up to, who you would like to make a connection with. And I'd like you to imagine for a moment, what if you could make a connection with them? Well, I'm here to tell you that you can, and that there are amazing tools available today, including email and other tools as well, that can enable you to make those connections with people and to dramatically really reinvent who you have relationships with, which flows and influences everything that you do. And if you're listening to my voice right now, if you understand the importance of belonging to a group like Over 40 Females, then you understand that already. So I'm not going to belabor the point too much. But in this presentation, I want to show you how you can kick that kind of old school networking with Larry the Leisure Suit, the guy, the picture that I showed you a moment ago. You can kick that to the curb. And I'll walk you through my system for building relationships with VIPs who matter. I'm going to talk about how I went from a humble middle-class family. I didn't have any special connections. That's me on the left with the big mop of bright red hair there, and my brother and our dog. I was a product of public schools, didn't go to any Ivy League schools, any special connections or anything like that. I actually flunked kindergarten. I'm not exactly sure how that happens, how exactly flunked kindergarten, but I did anyways. To meeting presidents, leaders, and world-famous entrepreneurs. I've appeared on top websites, blogs, and podcasts. I've been invited to speak at conferences. I've connected with famous entrepreneurs. And here's the key point. It's really not about just connecting with people who are famous for the sake of connecting with people who are famous. It's about connecting with people for the sake of developing those relationships and forwarding your business, whether it's getting new clients, whether it's positioning yourself, whether it's branding yourself, as Judy mentioned, whether it's getting your name in the press, those various different advantages that you can get. So I want to give you an incentive to stick around because I know all your time is valuable. We're going to go about 25 more minutes here. And so I created a free gift. It's a marketing tool that I created that you can use to grow your income. So stick around to the end and I'll give you access to that. But first I want to talk about why it is so hard to connect with influencers, and that's clearly a very important dog right there. So we're actually inundated with messages, and I'm sure you're saying yes in your head if you agree with this. You get a lot of emails, you get a lot of text messages, you get a lot of social media messages. Yeah, we all get more than ever before. It's just insane how much we get. In fact, this statistic it's actually a little old. We get there are about 145 billion emails that are sent every day, and I actually feel like about half of them end up in my inbox. I don't know about you guys, but it's just insane the amount of emails that go out there, and we actually spend over a quarter of our week reading and responding to emails. So that goes to show you how incredibly important email is, yet how often do we take the time to really think about how we can be more effective about it. But here's really the good news. If you're sincere and honest and open, there are actually more opportunities and more tools for connecting with the VIPs in your industry, in your field, in your local community than ever before in human history. So here's what we're going to cover. I'm going to talk about the 5 secrets for getting emails and getting VIPs and influencers to read and respond to your cold emails. I'm going to explain. I do have a course, which I'm going to mention at the very end here briefly. It's called Connect with Influencers if you're interested in going further with this material. And we're actually not going to have any time for Q&A at the end, unfortunately, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I'll mention my email address at the end. You can shoot me an email, or you can always tweet me at John Corcoran if you have any questions that you have in follow-up. But hopefully we'll cover a lot here in this presentation. So first, let's talk about how to create emails that stand out from the crowd. So there's a 5 simple step process. Number 1, grease the wheels. Number 2, brevity is king. Number 3, communicate how you will benefit them. Number 4, make it fun. Number 5, find the commonalities. Now I'm going to dive into these individually, so I'm just going over them briefly here. But I want to use as an example someone who's actually become a friend of mine. His name is Noah Kagan. He's the founder of, actually, I think he's founded about 4 or 5 different 7-figure businesses. So he's a very successful entrepreneur. If you haven't even if you haven't heard of him before, he runs a website called AppSumo and another one called SumoMe, which is a software tool that helps to increase traffic to your website. And he's someone who I'd known about for a while. I'd seen interviewed in different formats, and someone who I'd wanted to meet for a while. And the funny thing was, and this is a little bit embarrassing, but hopefully you guys you'll understand. So when I first tried to contact Noah, I did it all wrong. And for the sake of science, I'm going to share this embarrassing email. I'll read it to you in case you have trouble seeing it here. So I sent this email initially to him, and I said, "Can I interview Noah? I would love to ask about his experiences building AppSumo and working in other startups. I would publicize the interview on my blog, which is called California Law Report. Now it's called Smart Business Revolution, which caters to entrepreneurs and business owners. It would run about 30 to 45 minutes. Oh, geez, what a huge time suck. We'd record the interview using phone or Skype. You can check out my past interviews here. This is not a very good approach. In fact, Judy, if you're there, I'd love to get your feedback on this particular email in terms of an outreach strategy. You're a busy person. You've got a radio show. You've got a busy organization. I'm sure you get outreach emails all the time. What is your perspective on this particular type of approach? And feel free to rip into me. I'll take it.
Well, you know what? Besides my radio show, I was a magazine editor, and I got pitched constantly from all types of people. And I also did some TV producing also. I've done a ton of TV. I'm a TV host. And this is kind of like you're dropping a brick in my lap. It's obnoxious. I mean, it's starting out with, can I interview Noah? You're not stating who you are, what you're about. There are too many links. There's no focus in the email, and there's really no call to action. Let me know. Let you know what? If you have to, go to work tomorrow. So yeah, those are just a few things I see when I first look at it.
I said you could be critical, but geez, I didn't know you were going to be so critical. You've opened that door. No, it was a horrible approach, and this is the response I got. We're going to take a pass at the moment, but thank you for reaching out. And that's exactly what they should have done, because for all the reasons that Judy identified, I mean, it was a pretty inept outreach attempt. Now, the funny thing was, the second time I reached out to him, he actually sent me a box of cookies a couple of weeks later, and I got a great response from him. And so, what I want to say, first of all, I want to ask you, do you want to see the email that got me the box of cookies? I imagine everyone's probably going to say yes to that. Yeah, they want to see it. So let me show you the email that got me the box of cookies that he sent me about a week or two after I sent it. So this is the email, and I said, interview for Art of Manliness. Now, you mentioned, Judy, you hadn't heard of Art of Manliness before. And that's fair. Not everyone has. In this case, I knew that Noah was aware of it. I'm going to show you in a moment why, because we'd exchanged some Twitter messages. And so I knew he was aware of what Art of Manliness was. Art of Manliness is a blog that receives a tremendous amount of traffic. It's a top 1,000 blog worldwide, which is tremendous, like a huge amount of traffic. And why is that beneficial to Noah in particular? The reason is because he runs a business that depends on traffic to his website to survive. And so literally it means money for his business. Traffic to his website means money. And if he could be featured in a high traffic website, then he knows that would mean more money for his business. So in other words, what I'm saying is an interview in a high traffic publication, I might as well have been saying interview for Forbes or interview for Fortune or interview for CNN.com or something like that, because of the amount of traffic that it gets. So this email, I said, hey, Noah, thanks for your tweet about my Art of Manliness post mentioning you, which I'll show you in a moment. I'm actually doing another piece for Art of Manliness about why people should share their failures. And I wanted to see if I could grab 5 to 7 minutes of your time to talk, preferably via Skype, about your Facebook experience and what effect talking about it openly has had on others. Now, let me explain. He had been employee number 30 at Facebook, and he was fired a year later. Now, this is something he's talked about openly, so it's something that he's actually kind of fascinated with. He's written an ebook about it. He did a Creative Live course about failure, but it's not something that I guarantee you it's not something that he gets asked about frequently. I said, the basic idea of the piece is that sharing your failures makes people more human and relatable. Let me know if you're interested and we can set it up. Then I said, P.S. Here's me quoting our mutual friend Andrew Warner in Forbes. That was an article I'd written in Forbes about our mutual friend. PPS, here's another Forbes piece I wrote featuring your buddy Ramit. PPPS, I love tacos too, so I can't be a bad guy. He actually is crazy about tacos, so it's kind of like an inside joke with him. Judy, your thoughts on this particular approach compared to the last one?
Flattery and jokes will get you everywhere.
Right.
First you thanked him and you flattered him and you joked around. And it's so much more of an authentic email. It's to the point. And what stuck out for me as I was reading it, if it were to me, 5 to 7 minutes of your time, yeah, after you mentioned Art of Manliness, and then the PS and the PPS, I mean, those are funny. They're short, they're to the point, and it's like, I'm not taking myself as seriously as, and you don't look desperate like you did before.
Right. Yeah, you looked a lot more desperate before. Right. Yeah. And so let's break this down. So first of all, let's talk about the subject line. And I explained to everyone what Art of Manliness was. I said, interview for Art of Manliness. Your subject line really needs to be relevant. There needs to be benefit to the recipient, not to yourself. And there needs to be
Correct.
some familiarity baked in.
That's one of the biggest things, the benefit to them.
Right, absolutely. And that's where a lot of people make the mistake, is they're thinking about themselves only. They're thinking about what benefit can I get from reaching out to this particular person, rather than thinking about how can I communicate benefit to them. And now this is a little counterintuitive, because a lot of times when you're reaching out to a VIP or an influencer, someone who is successful, someone who's thriving, business is doing well, what you're thinking is, this person is doing so well, what could I possibly do for them? They could actually benefit me much greater, and I would like benefit to myself from knowing them. So we automatically, naturally are thinking, what can I get from this transaction? But the problem with that, and Judy, you know this from having been on TV and an editor and everything, the problem with that is that then you have just a volume of people who are reaching out to this person, trying to get things from them rather than give anything to them. And believe me, and Judy, I'm sure you'll second this, that is a horrible position to be in. No one likes that. And even quote-unquote successful people who appear prominent, who are VIPs, who are influencers in an industry, even they are struggling with something. They have challenges. They have things they want to overcome. They have goals they want to accomplish. And so a lot better approach is to communicate a benefit to them. And here in this email, the benefit was really clearly articulated. I said, 5 to 7 minutes of your time to talk about this experience, and I would share you in this high traffic blog, which, as I mentioned earlier, would lead to more traffic to his website, which would lead to more money in his bank account. So all those things are really good. Now, I'm a big believer in being casual, having fun. As you see, I put a lowercase at the beginning of the subject line. I put a question mark at the end. Why did I do that? Because it looks more like an email from a friend. When you get an outreach email like this, or when a VIP or an influencer gets an outreach email like this, so frequently it is formal, it is stiff, everything's capitalized, everything is dotted and crossed, and it seems like an email that they sent out to 1,000 other people. And when you receive an email like that, it makes you not want to respond, right? Whereas if you have your buddy, if you have a period missing here, I even forgot to link to one of the things, it's more like a natural email. As Judy said, it's more humanizing to you. And also the time commitment is so short, 5 to 7 minutes. I mean, you could do that waiting for the bus. You can do that while you're doing something else. It's the benefit was so much greater. So when you send an email like this, you really need to have all these questions pre-answered: who, what, where, when, why. All those things you need to go through very quickly. All right, so let's go through the 5 different steps. So number 1 was greasing the wheels. What do I mean by greasing the wheels? Well, one of the most effective ways to do this is to simply highlight or profile someone who you'd like to reach, someone who you'd like to reach out to in writing, okay? This is so easy to do, but so many people don't do it, okay? So in this case, what I'd done is I'd written about Noah in a couple of different places. I'd written about him in Forbes. I'd written about him in Art of Manliness. Now, if you're thinking right now, oh, well, I don't write for any big publication like that, so therefore this strategy won't apply to me, that's nonsense. You can do it on your own free blog. You can do it in a LinkedIn post, which is free to post to. Medium is free to post to. Obviously, the bigger the publication, the better, but the more relevant the publication, the better. So if it's someone who you're trying to reach out to in a local industry, have it be in the local industry. You can mention people on a podcast if you have a podcast. You can control the media these days. So even mentioning someone on a tweet, just calling someone out on Twitter is another great way to do it. So what I'd done is after I had mentioned Noah in these articles, then I had shared it with him on Twitter. So after the first article, the Forbes article, I said, hey, Noah Kagan, you were mentioned by Andrew Warner in this Forbes piece. He said, gracias. Second time, he actually reached out to me having seen it. That's how I knew that he knew about Art of Manliness, because he'd seen it before that. After that, I continued to grease the wheels. What do I mean by that? I just looked for opportunities to engage. Now, you might find that someone you want to connect with is active on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. People tend to be active on different platforms. You want to communicate on the platform that they are communicative on. In this case with Noah, he'd been active at the time on Twitter, so that's why I used that to engage with him on. All right, so let's move on to number two. Number two, brevity is king. Now, over 100 years ago, Jack London said, just a tip of advice, never write on both sides of the sheet when you're sending a letter to a busy man. But here's the problem now. Today we have digital ink. It is so easy to send off an email to a lot of people with a lot of information in it. So you can send an email that has 5,000 words in it, which is not a good thing. Okay, not a good thing to send an email. This is an email that I received. Very confusing subject line, INT 3-30 MON. Small business. I don't know what's going on here. It reads like a press release. Finally, I look a little bit more closer and I see, our two small business experts are available for an audio interview with you. Now I'm getting it. So this actually, I think they were trying to get on my podcast. Now I don't talk about insurance on my podcast, so it's completely irrelevant. It's just not a very good approach at all. So that's not being brief. That's not being succinct. That's not being to the point. As a little side note here, Judy, this one's kind of amusing. So I didn't know who this person was at all, but I was curious. So when you get an email from Gmail, if you click on the image, it'll pop up their Google Plus profile. So I clicked on the image in order to learn more about this person who had reached out to me, who didn't explain who they were or anything like that. And this was the image that popped up from this quote-unquote semi-professional email that she was sending me. So just a little tip to all you guys out there. If you're going to send emails using Gmail, make sure that you have a professional headshot. Just a quick tip. Now, here's another example of not being brief. It appeared brief, at least initially. I got this email that said, hello, John, thanks for the webinar invite. I found it valuable, spot on. And this, by the way, was for a version of this webinar that we're doing right now. I'd done this webinar and I received this email right afterwards. Okay, so I thought, great, this person learned from my presentation and it must have been useful to them. Well, this was the full email that they sent. And in addition to it not being brief, they also were asking me to introduce them to Matt Damon and Steven Spielberg, neither of whom I have a relationship with. So I don't know why they thought I would do them that large favor. So generally, you want to keep things a lot closer, a lot more succinct. Here's an example of an email that I've sent to my friend Andrew Warner, who's the founder of Mixergy, which is a very high-profile podcast in the startup community. Very succinct, very to the point. Rather than putting 5,000 words in an email, I simply link out to additional sources of information so that he can make a determination about whether these people would be a good guest for his podcast. Number three, communicate how you will benefit them, which we mentioned earlier. Incredibly important. Now, if you're wondering, well, what benefit can I possibly have to some VIP in my industry? Well, there's so many different benefits. I mean, I've been talking here primarily about reaching out for an interview, which is exposure, and you can use it in so many different ways. It can be for a podcast. It can be for an article. It can be for a blog post. There's so many different ways you can use that interview. But there are other ones, an introduction, just simply introducing someone to someone else, a testimonial, giving someone a testimonial, helping to promote a product or a book, doing a recommendation or a resource, not necessarily related to your vocation, but maybe just recommending knowing something about their particular favorites. You can send them an email recommending something. And then help a reporter out is another great one. I'm going to mention that one in a moment. This is my friend Susan Rowan. She's the author of How to Work a Room, which has been around for, 27 years. The book has been around. She released it, and it's sold over 1 million copies. Now, in spite of that, when I checked this review on Amazon, she only had 27 customer reviews. So what did I do? I immediately went on Amazon. I wrote a review. I gave her a testimonial on Amazon. I know a lot of authors. I don't know a single author that doesn't appreciate another 5-star review. It's a great way to provide value to someone and to build a critical relationship with them. Another great one. Here's a great one. I love this strategy. And Sheraton wanted to connect with authors. She started creating these video book reviews, which is something I highly recommend doing. Literally just holding up the book, recording directly into YouTube, uploading it to YouTube. You can embed it on a blog or whatever. It doesn't take much of your time. As a result of using this one strategy, she said authors and publishers love to see video reviews. They've helped promote their videos to their followings who shares and retweets. 2 even agreed to follow up video interviews. So she went from admiring these authors from afar to all of a sudden getting video interviews with them, which is really just the tip of the iceberg. It's allowing her to start building a relationship, and that's exactly what happened. She said later, one interview in particular led to a deeper friendship. Because of one of these latter connections, my contributor posts have been promoted by one of the biggest names in Christian media. She's a faith blogger, so that's her niche. I think it's helped to lend credibility by writing and establish me as a bona fide writer. Listen, this is about building relationships through using YouTube and video, and yet it lent credibility to her writing. Amazing, right? Here's another example, Jacqueline Duplessis. This is someone I met a while back. After we met, she sent me this email. She said, I saw you use Bitly to shorten and track the links you share on Twitter. I thought you might be interested in knowing how to get URLs branded. She sent me this 6-minute video, and it shows me exactly how to get URLs branded. So, like if you look at the New York Times Twitter handle, the way that they handle they send short links is it, instead of it being bit.ly.com/some letters and numbers, it's nyti.ms, which looks like New York Times, /some letters and numbers. So it's a little bit more elegant. So this is a 6-minute video. What I love about this is it's something unusual. It stands out. It's different, and it's also something that she can do over and over again with different people. So I guarantee you, if you're listening to my words right now, there's some knowledge that you have, there's some expertise that you have that you could use over and over again and benefit other people. And this made a huge impression on me. She sent this video unsolicited, didn't ask for her to send it to me, but when she sent it to me, it really made a big difference. It made a big impression for me. So that's something you can do as well. And then I mentioned earlier, Help a Reporter Out. It's a great website. A lot of people subscribe to it. It's basically free news stories each day, reporters who are looking for people to quote. Judy, I'm sure you're well aware of it. But what a lot of people don't think about doing is exactly what my friend Susan Rowan did. She sent me an email and said, I saw this and I thought of you. So she read through Help a Reporter Out that day, and she saw something that she thought I would be good to be quoted in, and she forwarded it to me. Now, you can do the same thing, forwarding it to the influencers or VIPs who you would like to reach out to and build a relationship with. That would make a huge impression. Now, Judy mentioned earlier that she liked the humor. She liked joking around. I'm a big fan of doing that as well. And you know what? You don't have to have the biggest sense of humor in the world in order to do that. You just need to be a little bit more, show a little personality, be a little bit more yourself. Here's an example of an email that I received a while back. Judy, what do you think of this subject line? Killer tacos in SF was the subject line here. Would that stand out in your inbox?
Okay, say it again, just because for some reason my computer's a little bit delayed on the next slide. I have Make It Fun, and then what was the subject line again?
It's Killer Tacos in SF, meaning San Francisco is the subject line.
Okay, I see it now. Okay, interesting. I'd open it.
Yeah. I mean, so I opened it, and it's first she says, I'm a friend of Noah's back from when I still used to live in Austin. Just read your article on OK Dork. I just wanted, she said, more importantly, at the present moment in time, I'm looking for interesting, successful people who know where to get killer tacos in San Francisco. Now, here's the thing. I responded to her, and we got into a whole conversation about tacos, but she also said, please let me know how I can help you in return. My business is hiring high-level assistants for CEOs and celebrities. Now, if she led with that, I probably wouldn't have responded. But because she led with something that was a little bit different, I did respond. I did engage. I had a fond feeling for her. And since that time, I've actually referred her to a bunch of different people on this topic because I thought it was interesting. It really stuck out in my mind. Number 5, find commonalities. I see we're running out of time. Find commonalities. This is an email I sent to Dan Pink, one of my favorite nonfiction business book authors out there. He wrote the book Drive and To Sell Is Human. And I said, tips for promoting your new book. The thing was, I found what we had in common. In our case, we had both worked in the same place around the same time. In our case, it was the White House. We both worked in the White House around the same time. In your case, it might be the person you're reaching out to. Maybe you have a favorite food in common. Maybe you both are from the same small town in North Carolina. Whatever it is you have in common, make sure that you bring that to the forward, because people are more likely to trust you. So we've run,
and it's so easy to find this, by the way, with Google and everything else. It's so easy to find something that you can find in common with someone else with Google and people's bios and their websites and their, IMDb's and resumes and all the information you can find these days out about people.
Absolutely. And it's funny because, people will ask that question. They'll say, well, how do I know what I have in common with this person? Or how do I find out some information about them? And I say, do you realize how hard it was about 15 years ago and how easy it is today? LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, as you mentioned, IMDb, there are all these amazing different sources out there. Just take some time, 10 minutes, doing some research. It's amazing what you might find out. So I just want to wrap up really quickly some things we haven't covered. So one of the things we haven't covered, when you think about this idea of reaching out and building a relationship with an influencer in your industry, the first thing that comes to mind, whether you realize it or not, is a mindset barrier. It's this idea of what do I have to offer this person? So whenever I talk about this, I really find it critical that we talk about mindset first. If we had more time, we could do a whole presentation on that. Another thing is time. People say, well, I'd love to build relationships with people who are important in my industry, but I don't have the time. Here's the truth. You're doing it already. You're building new relationships all the time. So the question is, will you do it proactively and with forethought or not? That's the only question. Creating your conversations list. Again, I could do another presentation on this. I highly recommend you do this. Take the time, sit down, write out a list of 50 people who you'd like to build or deepen a relationship with over the course of the next 12 months. That will give you a roadmap for everything you should do over the next year. Number 4, how to lay the groundwork using social media. Social media, of course, is critically important. Face-to-face is important too. They're both important. But social media allows you to build a relationship with people who you don't live in the same city with. Building relationships face-to-face. Judy does a tremendous job of that, of bringing people together. It's so critically important. I fly to a couple of different cities per year, even though I have young kids, because of the importance of hanging out with people face-to-face. So there's no quicker way to build a relationship. We've talked about email, creating a follow-up system. You should always have some system for following up with people. Use it. I recommend it. That's $50 per month you'll spend. I use one called Contactually. I'm a big fan of theirs. How do you increase your ROI and optimize your system? Then the other thing you should be doing is every 6 months, you should be going back and looking at your system and evaluating whether your goals and business have changed. Now, very quickly, I'm just going to mention I've got a course. It's called Connect with Influencers. It will help you to grow your income, impact, and influence by building relationships with VIPs. It's broken down into 8 different modules where we cover mindset, productivity, conversations list, everything that I mentioned a moment ago, social media, face-to-face, email, follow-up system, increasing your ROI and optimizing it. It's with 40 different videos. I'll wrap things up here. That's everything that's included in there. I've got a couple of extra bonuses that I'm going to throw in over the next couple of days. I'm just going to keep it open for a couple of days through Thursday. Here is the slide there. So there are 3 different levels. There's the base level at $297. There's the CWI Elite, which is the most popular level. Why? Because it also includes my email template. So I've got, I believe it's over 30 email templates in there of all different kinds, and you can use those. I also have my email bullseye tool, which is a tool for identifying email addresses of people who you don't have their email address for. So you can use that as well. I mentioned the special gift, the conversations list. So go to connectwithinfluence.com/conversations list, and you can download a template of your conversations list that I mentioned earlier. I highly, highly recommend you do that. So we mentioned we're not actually going to do questions here. If you want to learn more about the course, go to connectwithinfluence.com/over40, and I'll wrap things up for there. And it's an honor to be here. Thank you, Judy.
Well, thank you, John. And you know what? There was a lot of information today, and it's all very, very valuable. So I really encourage everyone who's listening to go to our educational video library and to replay it, because we're going to post it in the next 24, 48 hours or so, or definitely by the beginning of next week at the very latest, because you really did have some really important points that I've learned throughout my years as, being an editor and being on TV and pitching really almost anyone, which I'm going to use some of these tips now. I'm going to go and get Oprah's attention and go, honestly, it makes you feel more confident and just really knowing more what you're doing instead of just sending random emails. So I appreciate your expertise on that.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure.
Well, thank you, everyone, for listening. And again, you can go to our educational video library where this is going to be posted. It's going to be archived. We appreciate you joining us today. And over40females.com if you want to go back and find out more information. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.